What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity? Sweat equity? My sweat equity? My sweat equity?
Andy starts dancing. I'm gonna start dancing.
Sweat equity? What about my sweat equity?
Ooh.
Ooh.
You want to host this thing or what?
You think I was checked out?
No, you're like checking your email over there. What are you doing?
Oh, no, I wanted to throw out some fun facts. I thought we were doing this in the pre-roll before we start and bring in our guests, but I'll do them real quick. We talked about LinkedIn last episode. 40% of the members visit the professional social network each day. So when people say LinkedIn's garbage, it's a joke. It actually has a pretty good daily active user rate at 40%. 27% of all IT help desk calls are printer related. Fuck printers. I don't know. I've wasted so much of my life. Hey, that's boring. This is pragmatic
Fun
business
facts.
advice with dick jokes. So if I can't print out copies of someone else's dick to snail mail, because that's how I do it.
It's your dick.
No, I send a good dick.
Somebody else's dick.
I send a good one. I don't send mine. Mine's like 1.5 skull cans. And then here's the SEO one. Just want to do these real quick, just to throw out some fun facts at the beginning of the episodes. Google's responsible for 94% of total organic traffic. So all that shit's important.
It is everything.
And Andy, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, hopefully they stuck through all those exciting fun facts.
I know.
What-
Gotta
Look,
bring the
that was
nose
pretty-
up on it,
That
baby.
was like, what, 30 seconds? 45 seconds?
A minute 44.
Whatever, man. Well, so my idea was to kind of throw some stats out there because we live in such an opinion is fact kind of world now.
I'm with you though. There's a conspiracy theory to printers.
See?
Every time
The
I
printer
would,
shit
I would
is
not
amazing.
I would not print for several months, and the ink would just disappear.
Oh.
I feel like they make the ink
Disappearing ink. That's a
evaporate,
thing.
So you have to keep buying those cartridges, which
Big
are
ink.
way too expensive. Have you looked up? Actually, look up. Fun fact for real: the price for ink is like 10 times the cost of price per blood per gallon.
Whoa.
It's insane. You can compare ink cost to blood and other liquids that should be way more expensive.
I just bought 3 cartridges,
ink.
$150.
It's wild how somehow the ink industry has managed to like keep that price so high and no one's calling them out. Let's come on, people.
Thank you for yes-anding that. That was Eric
I'm a
likes
pro.
to
Part
not
of my
only
shtick is I shit on everything.
part of his shtick is not only not, but not.
No and but.
Printer ink is now more expensive than human blood. Wow.
Is that insane?
The
Now
predictive.
that's a fun fact.
That's a lot funner than the numbers you said before.
Yeah, but see,
I forgot.
you thought the printer thing was going to be boring, and
Look at all
look,
this gold.
if you've it actually
mining for gold here at this table.
funny you should say that, and that'll transition to what you brought in here. But the predictive search text when I put in more expensive than, it had gold out there. So I'm not gonna keep going on this one, but
It's clearly a popular trend.
but it dovetails right into. Thank you for bringing your 2007. Did I see?
Yeah, well, I don't
MTV
normally bring this around.
You didn't.
You-
I
You
I
asked, me
asked.
to bring the golden popcorn.
Once I found out you had it last night, I asked. This thing's awesome. I love.
It's lighter than you think it would be.
Yeah,
Really?
It's
It's
got
pretty
some
heavy.
heft. You could definitely bludgeon someone
Oh,
with
yeah.
this.
It would fall apart as you did it.
Yeah, but I mean, you
It's
know,
just wood.
Is it?
It's some sort of cheap metal on top of wood.
I want a picture of that after we're done here.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good.
Yeah,
that's a
I was
good
proud of
bludgeoning
this.
weapon.
This was
You're
a
right.
This was a cool day.
So
It's awesome.
tell us about it. How'd you?
Well, this is Andy Signor.
Oh.
You might want to mention the
Mhm.
guest's name.
Well, we do it sometimes we pre-record, and by sometimes I mean never. We met randomly.
The way people do.
Well, you were working on. I guess it's a kind of a promotional series. I don't know what
Yes.
you call it nowadays.
Yes.
Promotional product series.
Yeah,
I guess.
well,
It's
I'm
not
a
video
digital,
ads.
I'm a digital creator.
Yeah.
It's popular on YouTube and online mediums.
Screen junkies.
Did
the whole
did a
list.
show called Honest Trailers that was Emmy nominated.
It's a
Pretty
big
fun
one.
experience. Like I'm happy to talk about it. I did all that in LA, and I recently moved out here to Tampa, and I've been trying to network with the happening people here in Tampa, and we had a casting call on a project we were working on, and that's
We
how I met
nailed
you
it.
two. You guys came in.
We
you
nailed the
read.
audition.
Oh yeah. It was fun.
We're-
It's fun.
I'm such a bad actor. I can't read at all. I can't get into it unless I'm.
You always say that.
I can't read.
read.
I can't out loud. I can't read.
You read those fun facts, okay?
That's because I read it like 3 times before we started. I had to
In the
actually.
bathroom practicing.
I had to look them up on my own, and that's how. But like, if you're like, here's a piece of paper, read this out loud. I can't. Like, I jump over like my thoughts, like the way talk, like I'm gonna have a stroke. I jump over words, or I'll jump to the next line.
Is it? I mean, are you dyslexic?
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
don't say that to judge you. I mean, it is a real thing.
No, I don't. I say that I am, but I don't think I am. I just
You could probably take a test and figure that out.
you
but
know,
you wouldn't be
if
able
I
to read
slow
the
down,
test.
if I slow down, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Same with on
I was
stage.
waiting. He can't read it though.
Yeah.
Get that.
How am I going to do that? I got to get
It's already
Siri to
thinking.
tell it to me. But
Alexa.
my thing is like,
Oh, those aren't Alexas.
Read
Those
to
are-
me, Alexa.
we got her. She's in the other room. We don't let her in here.
Chiming in all the time.
Solving murders. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Solving murders. Which
So
murder?
Alexa's always running.
Oh, Alexa solved. Yes.
Yeah.
He's recording the husband that murdered the wife, and yeah, exactly.
That's
Last words.
That's crazy. And I tell people that, and they're like, "It's always running." I'm like, "How do you think it knows to respond to you?"
Oh, come on. I mean, it's
Right.
but it's not just Alexa. I mean, hello. You don't think Apple and say all these
Yeah.
devices aren't paying attention to us the
Assume-
whole time?
Assume you're being watched at all times. I
Oh.
actually found an app that it has like it warned you if your camera's being accessed.
Oh,
What's it
really?
called? Yeah. Oversight.
And that's really
got- it
that's
was
really
on-
the bug.
I know.
Lets them do
I was
it.
like, am I downloading exactly what they want me to download so
Right.
they can get in? And I did it anyways. Has a nice little umbrella
Anything yet?
logo. Oh yeah, they're always looking at me. No, nothing. No.
Yeah, everybody has the tape over their camera on their laptop, and I'm like, no one gives a shit about
I know.
you.
I know.
That's what I want to say to them.
The,
No one
Snow-
cares
the
about
Snowden movie. Did I open my eyes? Did you guys watch that one?
No.
I mean, Oliver Stone made it. Who knows how much is accurate? But I mean, some of it's accurate in that they were hacking through your cell phone, your laptops.
Oh, sure.
So they totally
look,
can. If someone wanted
NSA is
to,
listening, no doubt. I'm just
someone
saying.
wanted to, they could hack any of our devices and listen in. I'm sure. Now, do they really need to? Like, why
That's the
are
thing.
they doing it?
Why,
There's so many people.
Yeah. Why me? Like, I don't got anything good.
When you're the team manager of a Dunkin', like no, they're not following you for your fucking like. They don't give a shit about
Right.
your camera on your
Well,
laptop.
it's funny. I mean, that's an interesting topic to discuss because artificial intelligence really is kind of changing the game. And
Sure.
it's like the amount of intel that artificial intelligence can digest and spit out, I mean, it's only going to get better and better as we go, right? And so
Mhm.
this idea of can they listen to all of our phones and pick out who's talking about law or who's talking about Trump or whatever those things are, like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sure at some point the computers will be smart enough to do that kind of, because you got to think about how much data that is.
Oh yeah.
Well, right. We're not. We have so much data, but we don't know how to sift through it. That's my theory. It's like
That's when I do believe that's how artificial intelligence is. That's how Amazon knows you need diapers before you tell them you're having a baby or anything else of that nature. It's like crazy. Like I'll mention something like, oh, I need to get ketchup, and somehow Amazon will put it on my recommended
Yeah. I hate-
browsers.
I know.
And it's like, how did you know I needed ketchup?
Yeah.
well, there's also
They're always listening.
all right. So there's also a couple
also
of
nice
things because
sometimes.
I know that side of it. I actually do I've done programmatic advertising, and that's like advanced nerd level, whatever the top of the heap is for online advertising, and it's like some of that is reticular activation theory, which is kind of more your psychology. For instance, you go look at a Land Rover. You're going to buy a Land Rover, and now all you see is Land Rovers everywhere. That's what that is. So there's part of that, right? Where-
Right, but you went looking for Land Rover.
That's-
What if
I'm saying
I
that's one
didn't-
part of this cocktail.
What if I didn't go look for it, but they knew I was thinking about it?
Well, it's triangulated too. So your data keeps going into the DSP, which is like a data supply provider. There's too many acronyms, and there's like a data demand part of it too. At any rate, you've seen The Dark Knight. How about this? Before I bore everybody,
Yeah, of course I've seen.
Okay. you
Now
know
we're
the bat
talking movies.
the
Yes.
bat sonar.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was ridiculous.
And Morgan
I
Freeman.
know. What an easy plot device that was.
Well, this is
You
2008.
just see everything.
Well, this is 2008, so that's like fucking what? Like that's freak. Look, Morgan Freeman comes in and goes, "This is wrong," and then And what it's doing is they talk about it triangulates everything. So they're not necessarily getting it 100% correct, but you can kind of narrow it down to what your needs and wants are. Plus, a lot of people are predictable too. So it knows over time, it knows about you. Meaning these things that are storing up data, retargeting. We talk a lot on this podcast. If you start your own business website, make sure to have those the Facebook pixel code and Google remarketing code on there, even if you're not going to advertise for a while, because you're building up these audiences and you're building up this data on your customer.
Yeah.
And knowing about them, the more you know about them, the better you can kind of target. And so that might be the reason too. Is like
I think it's magic. I still think it's magic.
right.
Andy, you're right. I've thought about things, not said it out loud, and it has shown up on my computer like an hour later. Am I a robot? Tell me.
Well,
Am I real?
I hate to
Am I a
tell you
real
this.
human?
Well, if we tell
You
you
guys will
this,
tell
then
me,
you
right?
explode. So
Okay.
and then here's
Go cut into my arms.
I'm
It's
trying to
also
get-
those. I mean, it is
I'm
a
trying to
little
get
magic.
Otter.ai to sponsor this podcast because I have such a business boner for them. It's doing a transcription as we're going, which is a nice little parlor trick
Wow.
for you as a writer, because you create your own content as well,
Yep.
which I found very interesting. We came in to do the audition and meet you, and it was like, oh, you wrote this too.
Mhm.
You usually don't have that, from my experience of failing at a lot of auditions in LA when I lived there.
Well, usually like the director producer's not doing the auditions, but we were keeping it cheap.
Well, I mean, let's use
Oh,
cost
man.
efficient. Let's use the businessy
Yeah.
like
Well, you also
fluff.
too were very important people coming into auditions.
No,
so I
but-
made the time.
There
No,
we go.
I think that's a good thing that you do that, because why you don't need that many people for a lot of shoots now, and you used to need that nowadays, especially in a small market like Tampa. Like,
Stuff just gets lost. With the more people there are, the more cooks in the kitchen, that sort of thing. It's
Well,
like, if you wrote it,
this-
I mean,
yeah.
you know what you want.
this podcast was almost kind of acquired about a year ago, and we're going over these meetings about it, and we're cool with it. But it was like we had to have internal meetings. Like, look, we're gonna give up creative. Like, that's just gonna happen. That's
I was
what
just
happens.
saying I wasn't really going to do it.
Right, same. We probably toe the line, just like you would if we were at the radio station or something like that doing this. But I don't know. That's one of those things where there's a fine line between creative and kind of business performance, I guess. Anyway, that's not really a question for you. But
Did you have a question?
let's get back to your bio. So we stopped your bio for a second. So in LA for a while, and then we met. We skipped ahead to where we met you for our awesome kind of Daniel Day-Lewis ish.
Mhm. Yeah, you guys came method.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I watched my left foot before we came in. Felt really good about it.
I've been cobbling shoes in Europe for 6 months for that.
I think I have your audition on my tape at some point. Maybe I'll break it out.
Oh, yeah. Let's
on
see
your phone.
that.
Oh no, you don't have to. If you do that, then I gotta put Eric's out there for
I don't give a shit.
Dr. Green or not Dr. Ben
See
Greenfield.
if,
I don't
see how
care.
this goes.
Damn it! Damn it! You don't
See
care
how
about any. Of
free I am?
No.
I don't care.
I just don't want to hear my
Wait,
own
wait.
voice. Actually, 2007. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, so I had just always been into making movies, and so pre YouTube even I was doing it in high school. Like, I did my summer camp. I went to a prep school in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, called Germantown Academy, and I was way too academic for me, and I was way too creative, and I wasn't really excelling in the academic parts, and probably I almost got kicked out several times. But they had this amazing arts department, and so I learned how to make video at like 13.
That's awesome.
And so they had this editing software. It was, this was linear. This was before we could, Final Cut Pro and everything. I did deck to deck tape,
Oh,
tape
God.
decks. Like, and I'm actually grateful I could learn it that way, because when you wanted to, change shot one, you had to go back and reload all your tapes.
Makes you a lot more efficient now,
yeah,
huh?
exactly.
Did you cut? Did you actually
Yeah.
physically cut
Well,
stuff?
I did that in film school after the fact, but this was all like tape,
Mhm.
beta tapes and pro mat, that kind of old tape decks. But my point being, I share this because I was making videos at a young age, and I was doing them to audiences at my school. I was editing. I was using sort of graphics, and we had this thing called digital effects. It was a huge box at the time on Apple, but I was starting to get success. I would see the audience react to my work, and people would just tell me, "You're good at this," and so slowly over time I realized I had a knack for sort of making little comedy videos, and so YouTube started happening then. I wish I'd gotten in earlier. I do regret not jump in that train even before I did, but I started making
did
little
all right.
videos and had some hits along the way. And then lo and behold, because I had done some success, this producer, a friend of mine, had told me he was working at Yahoo and they were running a contest at the MTV Movie Award. And I'd grown up loving, my idol is Weird Al Yankovic, and my favorite movie is Airplane. Like I'm a
Nice.
parody comedy guy at heart. Simpsons. That's what I was growing
It's a
up
good
on.
base.
Satire.
And I was always in love with those MTV movie spoofs, like Ben
Dude,
Stiller,
they're the funniest things.
Will Ferrell as the architect in The Matrix.
Yes,
yeah,
vis-a-vis.
vis-a-vis, exactly. Those spoofs, like Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise together, like there were so many of them that just they're very part of my life growing up. And so this opportunity, like, we're going to do a contest to sort of who could make the best spoof. And so I was like, yes, please. And so my buddy Daniel and I sort of wrote this concept, and my buddy John helped us shoot it. And the concept was United 300, and it was a mashup of United 93 and the movie 300, which everyone was like, "You can't do that," and I was like, "Yes, we can, because this is going to be not making fun of the victim. This is going to be like pro screw the terrorists, like forget them."
Smart, yeah.
And so it was the idea that people on the plane taking out all the 300 the terrorists are about to take the plane, and the curtain pulls, and there's 300 Spartans there, like, no,
Inglorious Bastard style.
exactly,
Right? We're
taking out
gonna
the
rewrite
terrorists
this a
on the
bit.
plane, and we make some, tonight we dine in Cleveland as they're about to land, and a bunch of stuff. And the 300 parody we were a little early, like it wasn't before it would get done to death, and so we shot it really well, cheaply, and we did another one called Little Miss Jackass, which was like Little Miss Sunshine with Jackass, and she was doing like all these like 8-year-old pranks, like, today on Little Miss Jackass, I'm gonna eat broccoli. Blah! So like that was cute. And so anyway, long story short, I found it after the fact when I entered the contest. It wasn't even close. Like I entered this Yahoo contest, people were uploading and voting online, and I only found out after I won. They're like, dude, you were millions beyond the other people. So this video had clearly worked, and I remember it was crazy being on the show. It was live, and so I had done some viral videos or whatever, but I'm like there live in the MTV Movie Awards, nationwide, like across the world. They made this show live.
Yeah.
And Sarah Silverman hosted that year.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson came out to give our award. I was like, holy crap! And so and he won.
Who's
I
getting
won.
this motherfucker award?
I won, and I always remember meeting him afterwards. Like I was like, "Can I get a photo?" And he completely already forgot who I was. And he's like, "Oh, you won, okay." And then I got like the cool photo, and I have Chris Tucker behind him, photobombing. It was an amazing experience.
Awesome.
But
Did you
I
try to do
remember-
Tarantino and Pulp Fiction to him? Hey, Jules.
No.
Okay,
No, I didn't
Jules.
do any of that. I didn't have
Jules.
enough time.
And then drop a bunch of
I can
N-bombs for
curse
no
here,
reason.
right? We curse on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The tagline of this show is pragmatic business advice with dick jokes.
Right, okay.
Not a good
'cause
copy, but
there was an interesting business story. Like I'm there at the MTV Movie Awards before the show started, and I don't know if I'm going to win. I feel confident. I know my video is doing well, but the views weren't really public. It was on Yahoo Video at the time, and
07.
and they
I'm trying
introduced
to get back in there.
who walks by but Mark Burnett, big Uber producer Mark Burnett, who's popular for Survivor, The Apprentice, all these shows, and was producing the show. And he comes over and he's, oh, Mark, these are the people. He's like, yeah. He immediately goes to me, goes, Andy, don't fuck this up.
Whoa.
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 'Cause
Holy
he knew,
shit.
He knew my
Thank
video
you.
was controversial and I could go up on stage live. Like I could fuck up his show if I wanted to. And I knew then, I was like, okay, this Mark Burnett wouldn't come single me out and
Yeah.
have that moment if
Whoa.
I don't have a shot. So I got nervous at that point. But
That's pretty cool.
I prepared a speech and I was ready because I knew I had to practice something. And then this ended up opening up a lot of doors. It got me an agent, and then it got me some more opportunities. And just saying I won one of these sort of got me new gigs. I worked at Disney, and then I worked at the company that then became where I built Screen Junkies, Honest Trailers, and so that's really the short version of it all.
I love hearing that story because it's one of those things where it's what's the quote of it took however many years to be an overnight success kind of thing. Like
Mhm. Samuel L. Jackson. I just saw a thing that he didn't even start acting until 46.
like
Like he was
Harrison
a crack.
Ford.
He was like on heroin. He was a heroin addict or something at 43,
Oh,
Yeah, one of
come
his old,
on.
and one of his first
Come
roles
on,
was
Eric.
that.
What?
Just because come on.
It was on a meme or something.
One of those first
That's
roles
what
was
he
Coming
did.
to America.
Eric.
He's the guy who tries to,
Yeah.
to
You
rob
gotta get up-
McDougal's.
Yeah.
You got to get a
He,
4chan. Just get off there.
No,
it's
it's a true story.
racist.
He
It's a true
starts. He
story.
started as
Okay.
an older guy, and he's in Coming to America as the bad guy trying to rob the place.
And then he stacks. in,
20 years later,
Get
he's
him.
big time in guys like Andy.
He stacks in Goodfellas. That's all. That's the furthest I could go back.
No, I don't. I forget this first one. It might have been Coming to America.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
It was
I
like
don't know.
87.
We could look it
That's
up.
way far back. Now we're not looking nothing up.
We're just our age is just old enough to go. I'm not looking that shit up, even though with two laptops are open right in front of us. I think it's interesting. It's always interesting that story of like you basically went. It's cool that you went to school and learned this like formally, right? And almost in the way that we talked about a lot of self-discipline stuff. I heard if you want to lose weight, make your bed in the morning kind of thing, where it doesn't really feel like you're. Why should you
Discipline.
cut? Yeah, but why should you learn how to cut tape? You knew it wouldn't matter in the future, but in a weird way, you're probably a lot more grateful for the process that you have now.
Well, I would say, because a lot of people have asked me, what should I go to? Should I go to film school, et cetera? And I actually don't always suggest that. I think because I could talk about college for an whole episode of just how I think that
Yeah,
the university system is kind of a ripoff, and
Oh, big time.
it's just making people pay money and for what at this point. So I think you got to be careful with it, because if you're getting a scholarship or there's opportunities, of course, but if you really want to make movies, like hello,
Yeah,
everybody,
make a movie.
Everybody
Pull your
has
phone
a
out.
camera. Like, no excuse. Like, it's right here. Like, you can make something. They've shot movies. Tangerine is a movie they shot on an iPhone.
Yep.
Like, there's no excuses anymore to making content. And I think
That
you say,
Soderbergh-
why can't I write? I'm a writer director. Like, you have to be in this day and age. It's like, good luck, unless your roommate was Adam Sandler and you get to direct his movies. Like,
Yeah.
nowadays you need to be the triple threat. You need to be a predator. You need to know how to do all these things in order to do it. And it's going to make you a better storyteller if you know how to write and edit. When I write, I'm thinking as an editor when I write, because I'll be creative and do what I want,
Huge.
but then I know I can't shoot that. I gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would I put it in this location? Like, let me write it the way I know I'm going to be able to shoot it and cut it, because it's just going to make things more realistic when you do it.
Way easier to make it happen that way too.
Yeah,
I
when
mean, you write up a movie that's going to cost $300 million. Good luck getting that done.
Well, we've even the sketches we pitched to ourselves to do one day later down the line when this firm kind of slows down a little bit for us, that it's like I'm already in the default setting of like cost, like keep the cost low. Dialogue is easier to shoot, or not shoot, but pretty much less humans is better.
Yeah.
I'm already in this mode of mathematical constraints on the creative.
Mhm.
Then we can get into the creative and kind of write it, right? So that's how I'm already like programmed myself to do that, because I know almost everything kind of makes or breaks around that.
Absolutely.
And so, and then the other part of that is I look at myself now where I'm at with my career, which what we're doing here is kind of old school small, medium business consulting meets kind of digital managed services agency.
Mhm.
Again, not great at our own copy for taglines.
No, but you're
or-
You're wearing multiple hats.
Right. And if I didn't have this kind of this thing where I always had kind of 2 or 3 gigs going at all times, I wouldn't be as well versed and I wouldn't be empathetic towards any of our clients, or as empathetic, because you don't know why it's helping to go on the road doing stand up and opening for people. I didn't think it would help anything in my like professional business life, but I'm finding out, oh, this helps a tremendous amount, especially communicating. Because I go, you're into golf, okay? Here's how online ads work. If you're like designing a golf course, just think of ads online as sand traps. And I did that. I was able to riff that on the fly to like a 65-year-old guy that doesn't give a shit about the internet. What I'm saying is all those things, it's like an amalgam of all these experiences and knowledge, and it all helps get to where you got with the ward, and then it kind of snowballs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also just the drive. Like, you gotta want to be able to do it. I mean, I'm always more interested and attracted to people who are going to create. If they're just talking about it, I lose interest and I move on.
We call that the marathon kind
Yeah.
of thing. I'm going
Yeah.
to run a marathon. Oh,
Yeah.
fucking, you're
Exactly.
awesome. You're so
Yeah.
awesome. Like,
And I've met a lot of people here in Tampa, and I've purposely networked to sort of trying to feel, all right, who's going to actually follow up? Especially like I've met talent, people who I think could be talented, and I'm like, how do I groom this person to like be a performer.
And you're not
work on-
you're not like a talent manager
no,
per se, but
that's what I
kind
mean.
of
It's just I have to be, you know,
Right.
in order to succeed in this world, you have to. And I'm starting over in a way here in Tampa, so I got to figure out how do I find more tools to use for a toolbox to build something and build another empire together with other people. I'm always looking for that, and I'll find people who I'm like, you got something, let's do it, and I'll give them a whole hour brainstorm. I'll be like, you should be doing this. What if we do a podcast where you and I, blah, blah, blah. And then it's a test. Do they come back to me? Do they fulfill the assignment?
Yep.
They're like, you know what? I was thinking about that. I have 4 ideas. If it's blank silence, I move on to the next person because I'm like, it's just not that energy is not good to try, and I don't want to keep chasing you. You can't chase people to do it. You got to have that drive, as I'm saying, to want it, to not only want it, but then know how to do it, to be able to be, and if you don't have the experience of making movies and getting, obviously editing and all that stuff, you can teach yourself, and then you just got to keep going, and you got to then be, take criticism well and know, take the advice of people who are smarter than you. You got to put yourself around people who are smarter, know what you're doing. I always, when I was doing Honest Trailers, like, it was important to me to create an environment where there could be a trusting crew that I knew could do it without me. Like, I wanted to get it to a point. In the beginning, I was very hands-on and no. And then gradually, when you make a show like that, it was me and a buddy made that show. Honest Trailers was sort of, I would say, is my biggest claim to fame. It was an idea I had.
It sounds like something you really loved too.
Yeah, well,
like,
it was if I were to ever do something, that was me. It was sort of like, well, I'm going to call these movies in a clever way. Like, I'm a huge movie buff, and this a friend of mine, Brett, and I created that show together back when Phantom Menace came out and re-released in 3D, and it built over time. And we had some writers that built that show, and it became what it was. It wasn't just mine; it was a collaborative effort. It was my idea that then, because I worked with smart people, but my best skill was always just sort of knowing when an idea was right or wrong, or where to go, where to take that idea to the right place. And so, it became a sort of opportunity. And then, writers came and went as we did that series. But then I made sure to find other people who understood that voice of that series, because as I became from a filmmaker to then more of a business person who became, I was running a lot of departments and YouTube channels and successful things. And a manager of mine even told me, he's like, look, you're a perfectionist, you're hands-on, you want to make your show, but you're only going to be successful when you can teach someone else how to do it and step away.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And I was like, and that was really hard to do as a creator. I think, as other creators out there probably can speak to, like, handing your baby over to someone else and walking away and letting them sort of run with it and fail with it and do it is a really hard thing. But making sure you've left enough of the ingredients or the essence or the voice of it enough for them to be able to know how to continue, and then have that thing continue still even now without me there, and they're doing it. It's just that's the reward. That show is always mine. I can always say I built that. I'm going to always be proud of that. And so that's an amazing accomplishment, to be able to have built it to a level where they could take over and make it their own and keep going with it. So I'm very proud of that. But I think that's a crucial part of sort of succeeding in this world, is not just having your vision and being the perfectionist and no, do it this way, or no, you got to read this line. Like,
it sounds romantic when you hear about directors being, in a way, being kind of assholes on the set and stuff. It sounds romantic. Like, this guy really knows what he wants. Like, and he's got a vision.
Directors do.
Sure.
Wes Anderson, David Fincher, these directors, of course, know what they're doing and do 80. I heard David Fincher does like 90 takes.
Sure. Sometimes just to wear you down to get that 90th take to make you do it. I think I just heard that similar. God, what was that for House of Cards? I think. But the what I was gonna say is, we talk about writing the playbook and succession planning, and when I was in business school, it's no different. Like, I think the kind of production side, creative production side, it's not that different. People think it's wildly different than how other businesses are run. The same tropes are there, right? And so you're talking about, like, here's my playbook, and here's how I see it, and here's how you should try to see this work done. Like, we're trying to write that on the side. We have Evernote. I use Evernote religiously, and I try to think about it as if we're in 2020, we're going to hire 5 people. And I try to write these like little nuggets that to kind of build out a little bit further as like an employee kind of guideline almost. Because you're not going to get everybody to go 100% your way, obviously, but you just want to get them thinking in a certain direction and methodology.
Just to go back to the creative thing, I feel like so many people don't have a creative outlet, or they'll say, "Oh, I'm just not creative." And I don't believe that. I think everybody has something that they need to get out of them. That's whether it's your, like my wife is a dentist. That's her creative outlet. Sometimes, she works with her hands and she gets to have this thing at the end that's complete sort of thing.
She
but
has
like,
one-way conversation with
Yeah.
people while they're under. That's
Yeah.
what happens with me.
humming
every
and
time I'm
singing.
there.
Yeah.
I'm like, ha.
I mean, I think
Ah!
we as a group probably have the creative itch a lot more than other people, but I think it's like a big problem just in general with people. That's just like you get up, go to work, come home, and it's just this program thing where you're not using the other side of your brain,
Right, and I think that's what's so amazing. There are people out there who wouldn't think they could host a podcast or become a web personality, and they could if they had the dedication and drive to sort of
Yeah.
pursue it.
We have hubris, so we got that going. But we
Right, and
we think we're knowledgeable enough to do it.
Yeah,
but,
no, but not everyone has that, but that doesn't mean they're not creative and they can't be good personalities. And I think sometimes, we all have hubris at this table, and sometimes, there's a lot of those people, right? We're sort of there's plenty of us.
we
to
wouldn't have
watch.
movies or
And
anything.
I'm wise to that. I know that. So that's why I like to find other people and help find other voices to sort of help produce or have as part of the team, because you need it. You need other voices. You need more diversity. You need all that sort of style to succeed in this, especially in this age we live in.
Yeah, when we talk about surround yourself with people that are driven, it's that you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most kind of thing. And when someone is proactively you found my email through Twitter, I think. I don't know. I don't remember how we got in touch, but I did have an email from you, and it sounded like somehow you found my stuff through something, but to me it read like you were proactively looking for people in the area because you're newish to the area. And I was like, damn, that's some gumption. That's the kind of people I want to hang out with. And so we've been talking a bunch since then, because it's hard to find sometimes it's hard to find people that are driven, that are also not going to be a one-way friend or a one-way business partner kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I think, as I moved here, I mean, my story is obviously more complicated, and it's just like I had to start over my life when I came here to Tampa due to personal reasons, divorce, and other things that
Yay,
I
me too.
can't really get into specifics on a lot of the deals right now, but I'm happy to come back when I can. But the important core of that is like I had to restart everything. Like I had to start over my whole career, my life. I was just mentally not in a great place, and I used the past year as I moved here in Tampa. I was here for about a year, and I wasn't making anything. I wasn't creating anything. I was sort of starting over from scratch, and I was out of work for a year and doing all this stuff. I couldn't find work, and I was having trouble. It's hard to find a job sometimes. And
as a dude, I think is a big deal for a dude. I think I'm going to sound shitty, but I think it's a bigger deal when a dude's not working, because we need to do something at all times, kind of thing.
I mean,
devil makes for idle hands or whatever.
I think everyone does. I mean, I think it depends. If you're in traditional relationship and things, you feel like you're the provider. Yes, I think that I could see that side of it. But my point is, I think everyone needs to work. It's like,
sure.
And this opportunity, when I didn't work for a year, I didn't realize like how much of a hit that took for me, because I think people don't know that. And so my point is, like, I've learned so much this past year that's just made me mentally healthier and stronger. I lost 80 pounds. I got more discipline. I really looked in the mirror and figured out what didn't I like about the old me? Like what are things I can readjust in this new version of myself? And while it felt like the lowest of lows for me, it really almost became the ultimate high of highs, because I realized once the chains of my old life were sort of let go and I could finally be honest with myself and find my true friends and start over and have all this stuff, like it just opened up so much more to me. And so the point being, there was a year there where I didn't do anything, and I met some friends, and I was staying more of a hermit, and I realized mentally that was just deteriorating me, and it's something I'm great to talk about now, because it's like I'm sure there's so many other people who are stuck in that rut, and it took sort of finally publicly coming forward and getting back out in the world and finding an opportunity and finding someone who believed in me and giving me the shot to sort of start over. And then having opportunities where I finally felt, you know what, let's do this. And that's when I knew, okay, I can start reaching out to people. I got to start being proactive. I got to find like-minded people, and I got to sort of build this opportunity, because I realized I was very lucky in my old life. Like my resume, my work, it's pretty impressive. I'm
Things
aware
were
of
rolling.
that.
Yeah.
I was at the top of the game, and that stuff still exists. Like that work I made isn't ever going to go away. Like people may read about me and think certain things that aren't all accurate. But if you talk to me and the people I talk to and meet with, and I tell them my actual story and share the things I show them and do that, it's a different game now. They learn, they know who I am now, and I'm a different person, and it allows me to do that. So the opportunity to come here and just without any fear, without living a lie, without any worries or all that stuff was sort of like an amazing opportunity when I realized, what am I afraid of? And I think a lot of people are, living with their own weird fears or their insecurities or these things that are holding them back from just sort of putting themselves out there and creating and doing what they want. And so to me, reaching out to you is always sort of in my core. That's how I started when I made this. Like before I became Mr. Screen Junkies, like I was a nobody, and I made this short for like $1,000. I got an airplane hangar in Pacoima, California. I had to figure out how to get that for cheap.
Yeah, and people are like, "How'd you do that?" And you're like,
I
"You
had to
just
get these
did it."
extras who showed up for free and hoping they would, and had 2 camera shoots. I could only be in that plane for 3 hours, and it's a 6-minute short film. Like I had to figure it out, but that was always sort of what I knew was what I was good at. What was in my heart is just making content that people liked, people enjoyed, and so knowing I had that ability and knowing I had the successful content in my past, I knew I had to find people here in Tampa that I could do that with. Because I knew the opportunities here aren't the same as they are in LA. Like they just aren't. In LA, everyone has podcasts, everyone's shooting stuff, everyone has studios. Like here in Tampa, the production creative world is a lot smaller than what it is there. So
it is the indexed city of the country. So we're exactly the demographics of the United States, as close as you're going to get from one city. And it is like a second chance state, or we can call it restart city or whatever. Because look, that's Tampa's identity, is it doesn't really have one. And that's why when we talk on this podcast, I always want to make sure we're talking not so local specific. This is more about like you're starting over in a new place, and that sucks. I've had to do that with stand up. Like I came back here, I kind of started doing stand up in LA. Which is a lot of people don't do that.
Hard job.
Well, if you're green, you don't know.
No, right, and then they spit you out, they beat you up, spit you out, or you get stronger and you get through it.
Oh, I bombed all the time. I worked at a mutual fund company like 50 hours a week, and then I had in Santa Monica, and then I'd have to every night. I go to Monday nights, go to Groundlings classes. Why did I do improv? Because I think it would help me with my stand up, and it ended up being one of the best things ever.
I suggest improv to anyone. Like
if I have my druthers and we have employees here, they'll have to do an improv class because
it's so
Eric is not teaching that.
Know
what?
It, but it's like it's such an important. It's because I did it in LA too. I went to Groundlings for a few years, and then professionally doing it and running through those places is kind of annoying, as it is a very politically cliquey
sure
business. But the art of actually taking an improv course and working with strangers to like do yes ending is such it's any skill set you have.
No cocktail party's boring anymore, right?
Right.
You can turn it into a sketch or a game and go.
Well, you said it. It's yes end, which I don't know if people don't know what it is. It's like when someone is in improv and you're like, let's go to the wedding, and then suddenly the person's like, no.
End of scene.
And the scene's
you
over.
Killed it.
Or the Office,
you
sketch.
You realize, right? You quickly
Yeah.
let's go to the
Or
wedding.
you pull the gun out.
He has a gun and he kills every
Shooting
scene.
Everybody,
That's right.
That is so like
But that's
meta
life.
funny and actual funny for people that never seen improv. That is one of the best. Like this is one of the funniest written
it's a great
things.
show. It's the one show whenever I'm in that Netflix stuff, I'm like, what do I watch? And I'm cycling through all their shows.
That's the
I'm just like-
background.
Yeah,
I'm always like, I'll just watch The Office again.
yeah, yeah. Michael Scott.
That's the go-to.
All-time great.
Sorry, you can cut that out. Or not.
I
we
actually
won't.
don't think I
You don't
can.
listen to the podcast. we won't.
Apologies for
The
coughing. I'm
tapes.
coming over it. But the yes ending is such a good skill to learn
Oh my
for
God.
any industry. Like it's just, it's because it's like, all right, no, we're going to a wedding. You just threw a wedding. Think of something at a wedding. I'm going to go to the bar. What now? Suddenly we're building a world, right?
Do you remember
Mhm.
the 7 things you need to know when the lights come up? Do you remember it? Or the Groundlings teach?
I don't know. Well, Groundlings was a lot of, and then we did a lot of the miming. Like it was very important that we unscrew the toothpaste and put the toothpaste on when we're doing like.
Yeah, but you don't hold a toothbrush like that. You got to leave a little space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they were all about making sure you really were living in that world, which is like taking those pieces. But I don't know the 7 rules.
I think it was.
Neither
like,
does he.
I'm trying to remember.
Do you know?
No, it was like I found that notebook actually because I took a lot of notes during the whole time. Like, because I was like, all right, if you're gonna do this, fucking do it, right? Like, don't just limp in. Like, be vulnerable, do the limericks. You had to do that game. That's hard for me. Like, you ever heard
There
that?
once was a host named Law.
Right. You got to go, what is it?
Fill in the blank.
Long line, long
And?
line, short, short, long, right? That's the limerick.
Oh, I don't know.
And
Is
they
it?
got to rhyme. And you would do it in unison with people in your group. And so,
I
like,
never went that hard, man. You were in what class was this?
this was the beginner's one.
Of what? Of groundling?
Yeah.
Where? In which city?
LA, the Melrose one.
Weird.
The,
I went there. They didn't give me that lesson.
Well,
My teacher
my
went
teacher's-
on to win an Oscar. He was the screenwriter for The Descendants, and then he was
Nat
he was the
Faxon.
dean on the other one. He was the dean on Community.
Oh.
Why am I
Oh,
blanking
the
on
bald
his name?
guy.
Yes.
What's his name?
Dean.
Jim something.
Oh
we
my
won't
God.
look that up
Anyway,
either.
That guy.
And he's in.
popular.
He's a key part of the Avengers
Mhm. Yes.
because the Russo brothers directed
Yes.
a lot of Community.
yeah.
I thought that was interesting how they brought a lot of those guys into
It
the
was
fold.
fun. Anyway, sorry, I went you were
No,
going
no.
off on some tangent that you were losing.
No,
track
you
of.
just saved him from having to say the 7 things
I
they
have-
learned.
I've digital
Scared the
Let
dementia.
that go.
No. It would
Say
be have space work going
Uh-huh.
when the lights come up. Space work going. The
You're
pantomime.
miming, yeah.
Right. And then have to have a relationship with the other person. Where are you? Who are you? What are you doing?
Uh-huh.
So, like, I could be looking like a shovel, and you could be like, "Hey, you're scooping ice cream with two hands," and then I got to change it into that. What else? Setting time, I think, was another one. Like, and then like how to heighten the scene was like number 7, or your character. Excuse me.
Yes. What you were doing, that's more advanced.
That was the beginner one.
Really?
And I was struggling. I was
That's a lot to
24.
think
Sounds
about,
hard.
right? I think.
It was
Yeah.
really hard. Michaela Watkins was my teacher half the time. She went off to SNL
Yeah,
during
so,
it.
yeah.
So
They all do. Patrick Bristow was another one of mine, and he ended up being a very popular character actor. He was on Seinfeld, Puffy Coat episode. Anyway, yeah, all those groundlings are like working actors that are just teaching in between the gigs, and they make a lot of money off the classes. It is a business. You got to keep that in mind when you do the UCB, any of these things. But yes, you learn a lot of just forcing
Oh,
yourself.
good
to go
for
out
life.
there.
I riff on stage, and if I didn't do those classes, I couldn't go up without a set list.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just confidence for public speaking in general, which everyone needs to learn how to be better at.
But it
Or
taught me
private speaking, just talking, just having a conversation with someone. I mean,
Right.
you want to be able to make somebody laugh, even if it's just you and the other person. I mean, I'm constantly doing an improv class.
I'm always fighting my. I'm thinking this is genetic. My ability to. I have to force myself to be a better listener, kind of thing, instead of making an opinion
We
as.
all do.
Instead of writing jokes as they're talking about what they said at the beginning, we're just
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
bad puns.
Yeah, but I mean,
whatnot.
like, but even like someone's really telling you, your friend's telling you, like they need help or something, and you're not trying to like think of the advice to give them. You're really trying to take it all
I mean,
in.
that is huge advice that I think is correct, and it's one I over the past year I've been really keen on. Is just everyone needs to just be better listeners in this world we live in. It's just like everyone wants to talk and sell their podcasts, their brands.
I almost steamrolled you as a joke. I just,
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. Whatever.
yeah, sure. Listen,
That-
what'd you say? Listening? Okay. How'd you get that
But
again?
you're listening and you're making the jokes, but it is
Right.
such an important.
Some
You're
people
right.
think that joke. Sometimes I'll do that, and some people don't. They
don't
they
get
think
it,
I'm being rude, and I'm like,
Because they get
obviously
so much
playing
of
this
it.
up. Yeah.
Everybody else does it for real. They're just ignoring you.
I'm
and
just
you're
trying to
doing,
be entertaining. You're trying to be.
Well, yeah. This
You're going above and beyond.
right. This is an
I didn't say you.
This
was being
is a-
entertaining.
It's trying
for
very
legal
hard.
purposes. This is an entertainment show. So the advice we dispense is not.
Yeah, we
don't
need to
use
do
that.
a pre-roll.
We don't have
of
to.
all the stuff that
We're,
we
we're a comedy show, but
comedy first.
there's business advice in there.
But with
It's
any,
hey, I'm an empty bag. What are you gonna do? Sue me for nothing?
Yeah,
Sue me for negative?
right.
You'll owe money.
Yeah,
but because in my world now, and I'm sure with you guys, like sometimes it's hard to listen to a client. Sometimes the client is wrong, and you want to tell them in a certain way. But there comes a point where you got, what? You're in charge. I got to listen. I've given you my feedback. It's time to move forward and do what you need to be. And then try and, if you listen as well, you can figure out, well, what do they really want? And then you can
Exactly.
use those pieces that you've listened for when you do your next pitch. So listening is so key. And I know I wasn't always the best listener, and I still am not, especially, in relationships, et cetera. But if you learn how to pause and listen instead of just having to say, I need to say the next thing,
Yeah, it's hard. A lot of people aren't great communicators either. They know what they want to say in their head or what they're feeling, and the way they say it, you might not understand it. I think it's a big thing about understanding and completely getting it, what they're trying to get to, sort of thing.
Yeah, we're not as good at, especially via text message or email. We're not nearly as good as we think we are at communicating.
No.
You brought it up. I mean, it's
Women read any email or text in the fucking mood they're in.
I think a lot of people do, but yeah, I'll give you that.
Sensitive
I'll give you
guys.
that one over guys needing to not work more than girls. I'll give you that sexist comment more than the other one.
No, I'm saying like I think guys get depressed a lot easier.
Well, guys just won't read it. They'll just be like, "What?"
No, I'm saying with the work thing.
I wasn't listening.
The work thing, I think guys get depressed more because we're not as people oriented, just in generally. And then with that, I think I that's more of like I'm fucking around because I'm coming off divorce stuff. So you're catching me. You're catching me. Thank God Eric and everybody in this office was able to deal with my shit because I was kind of in that low point over the summer and depressed as shit and like thought I was fucking up a bunch. And then the way we met, you're catching me kind of on the way back up to being quote normal.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's a serious topic, but I think it's important. It's also a takeaway of just like, I one of my biggest takeaways from my own experience is just like how quick people can drop you. Like if you're branded as if my brand or anybody's is now seen as toxic and in the slightest way in this new climate we live in, it's like, sorry, see ya. And justified or not, what you think in your mind, like we're forgetting that people are human. Like we're forgetting that people, like everyone is going through struggle. Like every day
you're not
when you
just
walk
a brand.
by someone, it may not seem like as big as your struggle, but everybody is struggling with something in their life, whether it's bills or their relationships or their pet dying, whatever these things are. Like we're human beings. We're emotional. We make mistakes. We screw up. We need to be helped. And it's amazing this weird climate we live in now of just this cancel culture and all this stuff of just like, I am more liberal. I am the California liberal, and I've come out here to Tampa, and I appreciate you said like Tampa is so diverse, like not only just from like an ethnic diversity, but like just also all kinds, conservatives, liberals, political. It's everybody, everyone's here, and what I love about it is I can have a conversation with a conservative, and we can have a smart conversation. We can listen to each other, and we don't like jump down each other's throats. Like I'm not as liberal as I don't even like to use the term now with the climate that California liberals have become because they're just such bullies, and I don't like bullies on either side. Like I don't care. I don't even mean to bring it to politics, but I don't care what your politics are. Like I'll respect and listen to anything you say,
right?
But I'm not going to listen to you if you're like you're not
right.
It's like, hello, why are you so upset? Like
get a punching bag.
We talk about like people. There's more gray to people. That fiscally conservative, socially liberal. That's our generation, but. I mean, I think more people are in that, and I think we're getting fed a lot of shit that, you're this or you're that binary kind of thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think this need with like the Twitter need to like call people out and the Twitter need to like, I'm defending someone and I'm righteous and I need to be, my way is the healthy way and you're an idiot and you deserve to go to hell. Like it's all creating this sort of I think that the darker problems and struggles that we're all struggling with because it's like anybody who's attacking that hard is clearly going through their own issues.
Yeah.
It's just they're self-reflective. They're reflecting their own insecurities on your downfall, and it's just as I've gone through my own therapy and read and done my own education, like that's what a lot of this really is. And so this culture we live in, it just doesn't even understand in the age of social media. Where we just want to tear people down to feel better about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And nothing gets accomplished ever when that happens.
And it's like,
nobody's ever building.
The reality is people like us, all of us, like you got to be there for each other. You got to like, how are you doing today? Like answer honestly once in a while, like, and then take a moment and listen to people and be there for them. Like I'm grateful that I'm like mentally now in a healthier place where I can actually have real, my fan base may not be as large as it was because I've gone dark for a while, but the people I do engage
not blackface.
with. No one
just
does
making
that.
Sure.
Can't do that. But my fan base now is more meaningful to me because the people we've had more serious conversations about real issues in life, and
you know who your friends are now.
And you know your friends are, and it's like that to me is such a crucial life lesson of like I don't care who you are, I don't care what you've done. if you're getting burned on Twitter or whatever, I'm gonna reach out and be like, "Are you okay? How's your family? Like, do you need anything?
Yeah.
We got to get there, or what's the point? Like,
Any
Right.
shitty thing online, we don't get that much, but thankfully. But I've tried to be more of a not absorb as much social media. We neither of us watch any news because it's just like, what's the point?
No.
But the other part is anybody who sent me anything shitty online, I try to go, hey, we'll try better next time, or I just try to say something nice back, or something that's like almost
Make it
yes and
constructive
that yes
criticism.
ending.
Yep.
And more times than not, you'll get something back that says like, "Hey man, I was pissed about something else." And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Make them feel like shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, the phone, social media, our addiction to it is a real addiction and a real problem. And I think, a lot of people aren't seeing that. And it's a bummer. I hope more people talk about it and sort of fess up to the fact of like how chained we are to that device.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
purposely put it down like that on the table when I meet with people, new clients, or just going to lunch or something. I purposely do it because I want them to see that I'm
It's
not
here,
going
it's
to look
out,
at it.
Right, it's gone. I can't see the alert.
Look at how big of a hero I am. Yeah, but you get so inundated anyway that all messages become zero,
Well, and I think
right? So it's
yeah,
like, who
and
gives a shit?
conversations like this are valuable. We need to have conversations like this and listen to conversations like this. If you can't have them, it's greater to do than be on your phone while you're driving, which everyone's freaking doing these days too.
Yeah, but I'm good at it. No,
It's
that's what,
weird.
I'm
I
not a
can't-
woman.
I can't be in the passenger seat and text. I'll get car sick. But when
Yeah.
I'm driving, I
Great
don't
texter.
understand, why doesn't car sickness kick in when you're driving?
I'm
Yeah,
very
that
good-
is weird.
I'm very good at red
It's a
lights.
control thing.
Yeah.
I think the turns are coming.
It's really it just shows them how we mentally can. Yeah.
So last
Psych
thing
ourselves
before
out.
we got to get you out of here.
yeah, it's
We'll
okay.
pitch you to use this studio if you want to get your own thing going until you get something at y'all's office we looked at. But if you want to do something out of here, you're more than welcome to do it.
Thank
We're
you.
trying to
Yeah, that's
we're
awesome.
trying to get more people in here in that respect of what we just talked about of like, do your own thing. This could be cathartic for a lot of friends that are doing their own thing too. We know it is for us. But sometimes it's just easier if this stuff's already here.
Yeah, no, I
You
might
know,
take you up
like-
on that. I mean, I do a show for the plug time, right? No,
Yeah.
But I do the show. I did the show. I did a show called Movie Fights that was really popular, and that was really also really my DNA of just arguing with people about movies. Like,
Sure.
that was me.
Like my schmoes nose buddies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're friends, and they were friends. They
Something went down.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. I was
whatever. I wish
I
them
was
the best.
around when they were like, we want to do something called Schmoes Knows. And my buddy Nick Hoff, another comedian's like, I don't want to be a schmo. I was like, oh yeah. me
Well, that
neither.
was funny. They started a podcast, and I remember like Screen Junkies was doing well, and I'm like, podcast, good
Right.
luck. And then they showed me, but
Well, that's how we feel about video for podcasts. We feel like we keep upping our game with the video part of this.
Yeah, you have to. It's just like,
Uh,
why don't just do audio? If you
Yeah.
can throw up, even if it's people don't care so much about the video quality. Even the sound quality needs to be good, but the video quality. But my point is,
Yeah.
that's where I'm stuck. Of like, I had the show Movie Fights, and then I really missed doing it, and I wanted to do my own sort of new version to take it back to its roots of just sort of arguing. So I do a show here. It's a broader version called Nerd Wars, where we just debate everything: games, TV, movies. And I've found a nice little crew of nerds here in Tampa that are down to argue. And I'm sure if you guys ever wanted to come, you could come by. But I purposely have taken a pause in the show just
Oh, we're
because
nerds.
it's hard to edit. It's like an hour-long show, and I didn't have the capability to do live streaming, and I didn't want it to be crappy. And editing would take so long, and I can't. I have
That's-
too much going on, and so I've been in the works of trying to find an investor to build a studio in my garage, or figuring how to do. I'm trying to figure out how to do all that. So
Use this place, man.
Use
this
it.
would be
We'll
fun.
give you a key.
It'd be fun to try and exactly have that. Thank you. I mean, that would be awesome to sort of test something out and see where we go, because I think there's the audience seems to want it, but it's just the time to get to make it and edit it and do all that is can be rough.
We've got it. We've
This
got
thing-
it pretty good. We've got it down. Our production's pretty good. When people ask like, "Hey, when times are tough, why are you still doing the podcast?" You're like, "Well, I get like 10 benefits out of it, but mainly I can tell you on a production side, 3 hours, a week if
Yeah.
we have to."
I mean, it goes. I mean, we do it.
And that's
'cause it goes
pre-
back to the creative thing. We got to
You
get
gotta
it
keep
out.
going.
I got to get it out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah.
monkeys out.
Well, that's
Because even if 10 people listen, you're doing it for some people.
If
that's
one
how I-
person gets
yeah.
one tip from us, I'm happy.
when you were
Come on,
coming
man.
aboard, I
You're
was like,
doing it for you.
imagine like just 100 people, right? We have more than 100 listeners, but imagine 100 people in the room listening to you talk about stuff. That's when it becomes cool. And when we start messing with VR in here, like we're gonna keep upgrading this in here and figure out how to catch some video tech wave. I think that'll help us get to that next plateau.
Yeah, no, I think it's smart, and because I think like you said, Tampa is the restart city, and I think it's going to only grow, and I'm excited to sort of help do what I can do to build that too.
Get fucked up on opiates in Ohio? Fucking come down here, Hillsborough County, bro. And your vote in Hillsborough County actually matters. Really, go back to the political thing. It's like almost 50-50, and we're like the deciding county and the deciding state.
Yeah, no, the elections were key, but I'm still like we could do a whole episode of politics. I mean, I'm still like even the liberal candidates.
It would be you talking a lot.
Even the liberal candidates.
I was
my
actually a
depth
political science major in college.
Yeah, all those politics
I
conversations.
just don't
we
like
have.
either side is my problem, and so it's
Exactly.
like I don't know.
Right.
I'm just getting more
Disenfranchised.
disenfranchised by it all. Exactly.
Jinx.
And I don't want to encourage that because I think you do need to be involved, but at the same time, like you can only be so involved before it starts really affecting your mental state. And I see it all the time I think Trump derangement syndrome is a thing. Like I hate that to give him that credit, but that and fake news were kind of brilliant marketing ploys that he's thrown at people that I got to respect him for. And it's like,
and have actual.
you got to be able to
them.
stand back and know, like, this is a circus. Like, and the conservatives that I respect and know, like, will admit that. Like, yeah, I want that because I want this to be mixed up. I don't want it to be the same. And it's like, you know what? All right, fair enough. That's a tactic. I don't agree with that tactic. I think it's terrible, but having that conversation rationally is at least a nice change of pace. Then you're evil. He's killing people. Like, we're all gonna die. Like,
Right.
Obama's the worst. It's
You're
like,
the dude outside with the megaphone and like the posters on top of
lined up.
posters,
It's
like
just like,
Jesus
you're not
loves you and
dying.
hates you.
Exactly, it's that guy.
You're like,
On
who?
either
What
side.
team are you on? Yeah. Plus, my favorite thing to do to my LA liberal friends, and we'll end on this because you got things to do, boy. Is I like to go up to them and go, "Hey, Trump's so fucking cool," and they like think I'm serious because I say y'all, so they think I'm a Republican. So I'm just like,
What
dude,
about my sweat
best
equity?
president ever, right? Thanks for coming on,
Seriously,
man.
what?
I'm cutting you off as you talk Trump.
I know.
It's all
We
good.
need to put an end to this fire.
We could talk for 3 hours easily.
I don't care anymore. No fear.
SweatEquityPod.com.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, man.
Andy Signor and all the
What
things.
about my sweat equity?